And we're live for the first new moon with me at the helm of Sage Goddess once again. And I could not be happier to be with you. I love that Lana's here with regalia, a crown, a drum, all the things, as you should be, darling. I don't have a crown on in person, but I have a virtual crown on. Hi. Well, how are you? It's a new moon. It's also a partial solar eclipse and the end of our first eclipse season of 2025. I'm Athena, the founder and CEO of The Lair and Sage Goddess. In case you didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. And I am grateful to welcome my entire community back. Today's a big day in our world, probably the biggest day after the birth of my children, probably of my life, because Sage Goddess was born at a new moon. It really was 14 years ago in April. Sage Goddess herself turns 14 in July. So I have some stories to tell tonight. I have some energy to share with you. I have some teaching for you. I have some drumming to do. And if you don't mind, I'd like to take it slow because it's a special occasion. We've all been preparing for this moment for a really long time. We weren't sure it was going to happen, but it did. So when you wish upon a star, doesn't matter who you are, right? Big things can happen. So yeah, let's go slow to go fast. And we're here. So new moon, there's a lot to tell you. First of all, sagegoddess.com is back live. Our YouTube is live. We're still here on my personal YouTube because depending on how the story is told, I left SG. I was pushed out of SG. Whatever happened, I wasn't with SG for a minute, so I had to start my own YouTube channel. And so we're here now until we make sure that everything is good on the SG YouTube side, and then we will move to that channel. I want to say, as I have this whole time, a big thank you to everybody on the ground. Lee's in the room. We've got a whole team on the ground. A whole virtual team could not have done it with everybody who is here supporting us on every side. And so I just want to say a big thank you because nobody does anything alone, but specifically this, like I have said over and over again, it's like literally I feel even today, to be honest, like it's been a hard day. Like I'm picking up the Titanic off the bottom of the ocean and trying to lift it up. And that's very hard to do. It was the right thing to do. And for all of us, Sage Goddess is more than a website where you go and buy things. It's a community where we come together and find ourselves again and again. And in the words of my mentor, Joseph Campbell, it's where you come to find your bliss. So I am trying to live into my legacy and make it sustainable for all of us to do this work together. I know you're there helping me lift her, and thank you. Sage Goddess is my third child. And so one by one, all my children are coming home and I'm home. So, but bear with us. It's been hard. We're all doing it the best we can, and it's going to be a process. It's going to take some time, So thank you for your patience. I do want to say, like, I've always been real. This is hard and it's beautiful at the same time. So there's real value in like seeing the beauty in the moments and also recognizing that it's going to take a minute, right? So if you're like, well, where's this and where's that? And I want this and I want that. We want you to have all the things. The reason I did this is to return to you what is rightfully yours. And so it's all coming back. It's, good things take time, but we are so committed and we are trying and we are here for you. And it's going to be possible because we're doing it together. So yes. So kudos and cheers and thank you. And appreciate your patience. And it's one of those things like 6 months from now, we're going to be like, oh, yay. And then, but a lot of us will have memories of like, but remember when it wasn't all yay? There's a meme around social where it's like, it's all bueno. And then the comments are like, it's no bueno. So just be patient. It's kind of like when you prepare a big holiday meal and everybody sits down and they eat their food in 5 minutes and like you spent 8 hours cooking it. So It's gonna take a minute. So what is a new moon? Anybody by the way, new? And moderators, please make sure, because here's the thing, we got to remember, we need to share this not only to our Lair communities, but to the Sage Goddess communities. So please make sure the links are shared all around to Instagram and Facebook, and to our Sage Goddess groups on Facebook. If they haven't been, just know our group is working so hard. It's Saturday, right? So if you see a group that doesn't know about it, please feel free to share the link and invite them to join. This is public and free. What is not public and free is the after party after this live ceremony. So, and I am leaning on my drum. My friend Velislav made this drum for me in Ukraine. It's my new moon drum, and it feels good to lean into it because it was made with his hands and his heart. So I've got a steady back behind me. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind just making sure everybody knows, and if you have friends who need to know that we're live, would love for them to join us too. Okay, so a couple things about a new moon solar eclipse. It's not a total solar eclipse, it's a partial solar eclipse, but I'm going to tell you something that doesn't matter, because the effect on us as human beings is the same, whether it's partial or complete. So I want to walk through, this is, and everybody agrees, okay? My astrologer friends, my metaphysical friends, my shamanic friends, everybody agrees. We've all talked about it. This is probably the biggest new moon of this year. If you are trying to embrace, create, or ride the wave of change, because this is both. Usually new moons are releasing and new beginning, but this one is a proper initiation. Remember that Aries starts the astrological cycle, right? Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Aries is the first. Aries, my son is in Aries. He's turning 18 on Monday. So, and I spent part of my day prepping for his birthday. And thank you guys for your good wishes for him too. It's a big day for all of us. My baby, the one who made me a mom, is turning 18. So yeah, a lot of you have Aries. How many of you are Aries sun, moon, rising? Because you're really going to experience that it's going to hit different. The sun and the moon are both in Aries. So if you don't have any Aries in your chart or any fire in your chart, you're probably like waiting for this to be over. And I understand that I have a lot of fire in my chart. So I'm like, but I'm also like, fire is a weird element, right? It can cook your food and burn you to death, right? So we have to learn how to calibrate fire. Sometimes I'm cooking your food and sometimes you've got third degrees. And I can't always control it. Aries is the best at controlling it, right? Leo is the second best, and Sagittarius is like, fuck it, let's burn this fucker down. Sorry to the small people who haven't heard that word before, but you know what I mean? Like Sagittarius doesn't care. Leo cares, but we're like, somebody will pick it up. And then Aries is like, no, so Aries is ready, aim, fire. Leo is fire, fire, fire. And Sagittarius is ready, fire, aim. Like, oh shit, I shot over there and I was supposed to shoot here, but I shot, right? So that's the trilogy of fire energy. Yeah, it is what it is. Ooh, fire, 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 like Beavis and Butthead, right? So we have to just manage the energy of fire. And if it isn't your comfort zone, I just want to apologize in advance, because it's a little bit of a bonfire situation here for the next couple of days. Okay, yeah, so if you want to join the after party, magicalentrepreneur.com. Magicalentrepreneur.com is where you go and you click on Wax and Wane and you can join me for the after party. I'm so stoked because a lot of you at Sage Goddess didn't know that was a thing, and you need to know that that's a thing. So I would love for you to join us for the after party if you can. Okay. Also, if you shop at sagegoddess.com today, I'm giving away a whole new moon kit. And you can go to our main Facebook page post, my Facebook page post from today. If you comment with what you got at sagegoddess.com, then you're going to enter to win my personal double terminated twin epidote for manifestation, the new moon candle OG from SG, the Oracle deck, and the new moon journal. So if you saw my live earlier and you commented, that's great. If you didn't see it yet, again, everybody's linking to it for you and you'll find it. And then if you shop. You can enter to win that. There aren't any more of those things. These are like onesie, twosie at SG. So, but I thought it was cool to bring you back some of our original new moon tools. So I'm clearing all the energy. I know. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your North Node's Capricorn. I know Vanya or Circe has North Node Capricorn. Chiron Aries is really tough. So we don't want to get too deep into the astrology tonight, but if your Chiron's in Aries, then what that means is where you're wounded, that's your medicine. So you heal through being correct, being accurate, starting fires, moving people along. Aries are really good at follow through. They're executors, right? So some people are designers and creators. Aries is the executor. Like, now we're going to do it. And that's been the energy in my world this week. Like, okay, we planned, now it's go time, and here's what this looks like. And there's very much it's direct. It can be, Aries can make you feel like you're cut off because they're just like, it doesn't matter. This is the goal. This is the target. Now it's go time. So if you have that energy in your chart, you already know this. Christine in our little online family is an Aries with her birthday coming up. So it's all that energy coming through. And then these moon phase Palo Santo are at sagegoddess.com today, OG. And I want to remind you that Palo Santo we burn after white sage, because white sage clears all the energy and Palo Santo cleans it. Antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So you want to, if you don't feel good, you want to inhale that. In the Amazon, they hang this from the shower and then they turn the water on really high temperature and it releases steam. And the steam from Palo Santo wood clears the sinuses. It can eliminate infection, like upper respiratory infections. It's a master healer. So it's old medicine coming back for you again. Yeah, I do Palo after because I want to clear everything out and then heal it. Now, if you want to heal it first and then clear it, I don't think there's a right wrong, but that's my protocol for it. So yeah, put it in your shower, hang it from the shower head, and that will be all you need to do. Okay. I'm going to begin tonight by teaching you, this is our new moon perfume. This is a layer perfume that we have put over on sagegoddess.com. And I hand engraved the little crescent moon on it for you. So you know what it is. Like, that's me right there with my little pen. So it's nice to start with water energy because water initiates energy too. Water and fire both initiate. So water can bring energy and also take it away, which is why it's so good for the new moon. So I always draw infinity symbols on my hands with my perfume. So may you experience infinite release and infinite allowing and manifestation. So if you've been looking for a new moon perfume, there is one for you. You didn't know about it till tonight because it's been a little secret. So a little at your third eye for what you know, at your wrist for what you do, and at your ankles for where you go to bless your steps and bless your path. Okay. So I'm going to go to my notes because I want to talk to you about what tonight's all about and answer any questions. And then we're going to do a ceremony, both a releasing and an intention setting ceremony. That's the work of the new moon. And even though we do kind of the same work every month, it's different every month because of the energy. And of course, this month is different because of us, right? Like, we are completely different. So we have already, my team has already experienced this. I'm experiencing it. I have had in this eclipse cycle, I have had the biggest releasing, the biggest request from the universe to surrender something big to me, and the biggest receiving, the biggest gift that the universe could give back to me, possibly in my life. Maybe not possibly, but close. So I'm sitting tonight with joy, grief, acceptance, love, life, death, all the things. And all of it has happened since the last new moon. So this eclipse cycle is completely alive for me in ways that, of course, like all eclipses, I could not have anticipated. And I'm grateful for it. You have to be grateful for it. This is life. Life is about death and birth and rebirth. Life is about surrender. Life is about receiving and being grateful. You hear my bird? They haven't been singing until like the last couple of weeks. So it's about all of those things. And have you guys experienced this too? Are you in a big cycle where something's ending and it's hard, and something's beginning and it's hard, and you have to sit with all of it because you don't have a choice? Then you are exactly where the rest of us are. And so I want to validate that and kind of like be present to that, because I don't want to override that. It's so incredibly hard. But there's beauty in it too, right? So I vacillate right now between I can't stop crying and I can't stop saying I'm grateful, thank you. And that's what these moments are all about, right? We're going to miss things, but we're also going to receive things, and that's going to be awesome. And I will tell you this, your intuition, however you think it's going to go, is how it's going to go. And I guess that's the hard part for me, is I know in my world how it's going to go. And it's beautiful and terrible and awful and wonderful and awesome and scary at the same time. So, and I will tell you, with an Aries new moon, the beginnings are more important than the endings, because so for a lot of you, you're not having an ending, which is, maybe you're not right now, but remember, the eclipses are still having effect for the next 2 to 4 weeks. There's a shadow of the eclipse, right? So this could have been something happening to you at the beginning, middle of March, probably March 15th and forward. And this could be something that will happen to you and you haven't figured it out yet or heard about it yet, starting now, right now, until about April 12th, which is the full moon, right? So I'm going to say I'm bookending mid-March to mid-April of, if, there's going to be some end and some beginning. Something stops, something starts. But because Aries is about the initiation, right? Again, it initiates the astrological wheel and cycle. The beginnings are more highlighted here than the endings. When we have a Scorpio new moon, sometimes it's more about the endings than the beginnings, right? Because Scorpio rules death, transformation. Aries doesn't really represent death and endings as much as it represents beginnings and initiation. So if you're not on that other end of the cycle, for whatever reason, I get to experience everything with a double click. Like, the universe is just like, great. Everybody else experiences it at 10%. You're going to experience it at 110. There's also cycles being completed. So with eclipses, you always want to look back to what was happening last year this time. And actually, that's what's coming up for me on the menu. So what was happening to you March, April, this exact time last year? If you have journals that you've kept, because I do, that's helpful, because you can actually look back and read what you wrote mid-March to mid-April last year. And then you're going to go, oh my God, that's what's happening, right? My Chiron return is almost complete, if not fully complete. So this isn't so much for me about Chiron, but your Chiron return may be activated right now too. And that's important for you to know. And if you don't know what that means, like, a great astrologer can do personal readings for you. And I think that would be a really great time for you to understand what those cycles are looking for, right? Okay. So breakthroughs. Eclipses are always portals. Okay. Eclipses are a dance between the sun and the moon, where there's a balance of power. The moon is the feminine, the sun is the masculine, and they do this dance. So we always think of equality between the sun and the moon, but if you think about it, there is no equality between them, except for really 2 days in the year when we have equal amount of sunlight and nighttime. Every other day of the year, there's either more darkness or more light. So that dance is literally those infinity symbols I did on my arm. The moon has more time and the sun has less. And then we have an equinox. Equinox, Latin, equal night. And then the sun has more time and the moon has less time, equinox, right? So that's the literal cycle of light on our planet. So we have 2 points in the year when we have this balance of power. The rest of the time, the sun is winning or the moon is winning. And it's very much like a relationship, right? Like, we can't always be in charge. There's other words for this. In Buddhism, it's equanimity, right? In psychology, they talk about this a lot. They call it impingement. In a partnership, one partner is always asking more of the other. The goal is for the partner that needs more today to need less tomorrow, so that there isn't resentment and tension, right? So, okay, I need more today, you need less. Tomorrow you might need more and I'm going to have to give more, and then that's how we find our balance. I say this to you because these are life lessons. Like, these moon phases aren't just about let's light a candle, make a wish, and go away. This is about understanding that nature is reflecting us. Like, right now in my life, I need a lot and I'm losing some things, right? My son's becoming an adult. There's some instability in my field, but I'm gaining, right? Like, I've got access back to the things in my life that I built a long time ago and trying to create fertile ground for that to grow. So that is the energy of this entire cycle. But the focus should be on where do you start, right? When you're climbing a mountain, you don't go, okay, what's it going to be like at the top of the mountain? You start with that step right there looks unstable, and I've got to get different shoes. I have to make sure I have a backpack. I have to make sure I have water, right? Like, if I'm going to climb that whole mountain, I start with the first step. And that's what I'm saying to you. Aries is asking you at this new moon, where do I begin? And then what do I need? What's in my backpack? Do I have the supplies and resources and support? If I don't, what am I going to need at the middle of that mountain, at the top of the mountain? And how do I project? And then as I go, how do I tweak and tune and refine so that I don't end up at the top of the mountain going, great, I'm here, but I can't sustain what I've got at the top of the mountain, right? Does this all make sense? So this is the astrology of this actual moment. We are at 9 degrees Aries tonight. 9 is the number of completion of cycles in numerology. My entire astrological chart is at the 9s. So, like, I'm here to finish stuff. If I start something, I'm going to finish it. If I start a relationship, it will end at some point. If I start something, it will have an ending and then a rebirth. That's just my entire reason for being on the planet. So if you're a 9 person like me, I'm not a life path 9, I'm a 10. So I'm going to finish it and then rebuild it and then move on, right? So this is all the medicine of right now, but the 9s are significant tonight and super highlighted. Like, if your house number has 9, your phone number has 9, your life path number is a 9, tonight is in particular a really significant opportunity for you. Okay. So normally these are portals of endings, right? We say goodbye to something, we release something, we let something go. Like I said, tonight's about also initiation and what we're rebirthing and recreating. The other words coming up for tonight, revelation. What are you learning right now that you didn't know before? Because nothing's hiding right now, which is great. I don't like to not know. It also means I get to know everything and then I have to deal with it. Remember my bird? Can you hear him? Release. What are we letting go? And then initiation. What are we beginning? Mercury will be retrograde until tonight. Is it midnight tonight? Mercury transiting direct. Venus is retrograde until the 12th. So this is about old love, endings of old loves, reemergence of old love so that you can revisit it and understand, is it the right thing for you? Do you need something new? It isn't just love, it's beauty and harmony. So where do you find peace and balance in your life? Maybe reimagining how you look. Venus can be very superficial, changing your makeup, changing your hair, but it can also be like somebody from the past comes back and you finish that cycle and it becomes complete in whatever way that it needs to. Tonight's about sparks of fire. So before I want to say one more thing, because I know I'm talking too much, but there's so much to tell you, and I'm just so happy that you're here. So thank you for coming and being with us on this very important night for us, for me, for SG, for Lair. It's the transition from where we've been to where we will be in the future. These will be held on the Sage Goddess YouTube channel. So make sure you've subscribed, and our moderators are here and sharing that link. So Sage Goddess YouTube is back. Our Instagram is back. Our Facebook is back. Our website is back. Our Facebook groups are back. And then if you knew SG, you get to join all the Lair groups and the Lair Instagram and the Lair Facebook group. So they are just jam-packed with links. So what I would say is, just if you want to join everything, just make sure you're clicking and they will make sure you have access to everything. And then, of course, my new classes that if you're in SG, you didn't know about. And then Apothecary class is coming back on April 2nd for registration. I'm going to finish what I started, which is very much in keeping with this eclipse cycle. And again, they've got all the links for you, and they'll be sharing all of those links. Okay. Swimming in the deep, old cords being reconnected in new locations. So an old relationship coming back and trying to reestablish itself, or a new cord, newish cord that needs to unplug itself, and you figuring out how you're going to manage that. A bridge between where we begin and where we end. Mm-hmm. Does all that make sense? Woo. Okay, so releasing first. And I think this is the last Sage Goddess new moon candle. I tried to find one. I had a full moon candle, but I did not have a new moon candle. One day we will recreate these because it is my favorite. But if you have a new moon candle, I think it's really cool to start this candle tonight because it's where Sage Goddess began. So in 2011, I was a professor at the University of San Diego teaching leadership. It was my last class before I resigned because I took a private sector job to become a learning and development officer at a private sector company. So I was teaching my graduate students for the last time in a class called Love and Leadership. And the final exam was to write a paper or perform something, recite poetry or whatever you wanted to do, to show us how you were going to create more of what you loved in the world as a leader. And so the co-professor I was teaching with, incredible scholar, wizard, magician named Zachary Green, and I decided that the final exam was just that question, and people could answer it however they wanted. And we decided we were going to do it too. So for my exam, in front of my students, I presented SG. It didn't have a name. I didn't call it Sage Goddess, but I said, what I really love is getting my people together to celebrate the moon phases. That's my passion in the world. And I'm going to do more of what I love by trying to figure out a way to maybe do that online, because I'd been doing it in person at my house in San Diego. So it felt very vulnerable to tell these university students that I was going to be weird and metaphysical and focus on that. So that was my exam. And I did it. That was April 2011. On July 25th, 2011, I opened Sage Goddess Etsy. I didn't know what I was doing. Half the time, I still don't know what I'm doing. And the rest is kind of history. So what I want to say is really be careful what you wish for in a new moon, because the universe is listening. And what you start tonight, it begins a cycle, right? It sails ships, as the Greeks would say, right? Because the Trojan War started with ships being sailed. So we're sailing ships tonight. And just be, Aries is so accurate. Just be really, really clear that the ship you're launching is the ship that you want to sail. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, so Wendy's asking about the Sage Goddess Gem and Crystal Magic. I have a gem group called Gem Journey. So I think that we're trying to figure out if we want to have 2 gem groups, because I have a brand new gem and mineral Facebook group for my class. So we're just slowly bringing things back online. But the groups that are open, I would love to have you there. And we're figuring out our rhythm and our cadence. Okay. So I'm going to, we have to release to fire tonight because it's a fire new moon. So the releasing part of our ceremony is first, and then we're going to do our intention setting. And I'm going to open a circle, because at an eclipse, the energy is that of what we say are reversed cards in the tarot. So you do have to be a little careful with intention setting at an eclipse. Next month, we're clear, right? By the way, next month, we're going to be live. I think the moderators have been talking about it in the feed. But the full moon and new moon from now on are going to have live in-person ceremonies in addition to the virtual experience. And you'll be able to come in person if you're in Los Angeles. So it'll be really fun next month to have a new moon ceremony where we are together in person. It'll be the first time in a long time, over 5 years. So we'll totally have the virtual experience, and you don't have to come and be with us in person. But if you are in LA, it'd be really fun to see you again. So we have to release. But before we do that, especially at an eclipse, we want to open a circle because you have to be protective of your energy at the eclipse. It's not linear, this energy. So you send something out, it doesn't necessarily come back to you in a straight line. You can send something out and it comes back and it reverberates and it can go off to the side. So the keys are clarity, focus, intention at an eclipse. You can still set intentions. I don't charge things at the new moon eclipse. You can. And there are people who love to do it because they love the wonky, weird energy. Just for me, because I've had experiences where it doesn't come back in the same way, I'm a little more patient with it. Does that make sense? I know. This is a big gong drum. And again, kudos to Velislav in Kyiv, Ukraine, who makes these beautiful drums for me. He's been my drum maker for a long time. And you know, he made this drum in Ukraine and shipped it to me. And he knew it was for the new moon. This was years ago. And it arrived on the new moon. I was literally getting ready to leave my house, and there's a box on the doorstep, and I'm like, it's undeniable what's in the box, right? It's a big ass, slim, square box. And I was like, no way. So I WhatsApped him and I'm like, dude. And even he was like, really? I mean, we didn't plan that. So there's me like running down the hallway like, oh my God, I've got my new moon drum. Oh my God, it arrived on the new moon. And Malachite, the healer of the divine feminine. Come on, y'all. So, guides and guardians, let's open our circle. You ready? And if you want to drum with me, you can. Let me just tell you something. There's all kinds of divine timing, divine messages, even in the challenges and the frenzy and the fury and there's a lot of signs that this is all happening. My God, Lorian, don't you feel like it? I know. 15 years, y'all. 14. Exactly. 14, exactly. The fact that some of you remember that story and you were there, it's crazy. So thank you for being here. Guides and guardians of the East, I ask that you open this circle tonight with me to begin this cycle. To help me and everyone who's here in any capacity to begin this cycle with gratitude and grace. Help us to see and sense and feel with accuracy. That's the East. Always accuracy, right? Eagle vision, hawk vision, night vision, owl vision. I know you have, Jim. Thank you for bringing our family back together from the four corners and all directions to be in the space. Thank you for helping us begin. It's not really a beginning. Renew, restore. It's the right season too, right? Spring, it's all about that. You are here. I know, Pam Glosser. Holy shit, girl. 9.5 years. Cheers. We are here. And to the guides and guardians of the South. Element of fire. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, welcoming in all of the fire signs tonight for creation, expansion, passion, transformation. We are here. Isn't that cool? Look at the feet. Faye Johnson since 2013. Guides and guardians of the West. Jessica, 2012, Corinne, 2017, and Millie, 2014 for Lauren. Angel 2015. Look at that. Ah! It's like a roll call, and I'm here for it. I love it. I'm going to keep calling in our guides, but I see you. Guides of the West. How many tears can you cry? How many rivers can flow to the ocean? They say rivers pause before they enter the ocean. Did you know that? It's actually scientific. When a river hits a bigger body of water, it pauses. Can I do it? Thank you for being here. We are here. Guys and guardians of the North. This is you, Capricorn, right? Taurus, Virgo, steadying the way, holding it down, grounding us, being the stable, energy and space. Couldn't do it without you, actually. My North Node is Capricorn, so as weird and as flighty as I look, it's pretty grounded. We are here, guides and guardians of the upper world, the middle world, the lower world, ancestrals across space and time. Angels, archangels, master teachers, spirit guides, to our community, to our beloveds on every continent and planet across this incredible earth, every country, every city, every town. Beneath our feet, our bones, the bones of those who have gone before us, that we stand on their shoulders, the stones in the caves, the groundwater, and the core of the planet that anchors us and tethers us to the all that has been. We are here. We are here. We are here. Together we sing. Amen. Aho. And so it is. And so it is. It's good to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I'm going to write on the back of my drum tonight. Yeah. I don't know what yet, but I found a paint marker today, a gold one. And I think I just want to initiate my drum, reinitiate my drum. Yeah. It's like a shield. We've got this. Yeah, mark the date. It's something else. Cycle the cycle. I mean, 14 years from April 2011 to this date is a full cycle. It's March, in case I'm menopausal, so sometimes people have to tell me where I am and what month it is. It's March. It's not April yet. So, but literally March to April is a 14-year cycle. I think it's a good thing. Okay. Now the releasing. So when it's an air sign, I try to release to air. When it's a water sign, I try to release to water. When it's a earth sign, I try to release to earth. And earth is about burying. Air is about smoke. Releasing to water is about bodies of water. And an ideal scenario, you would release to like a river or a stream or the ocean, or you would go put your feet in whatever. If you have that, you're lucky, right? Not everybody lives near a body of water. I do. But the Pacifica is grand. So I don't think I can release to water, but it's not appropriate for an Aries new moon anyway. So we release to fire. So this flame is what you're going to release to. And you're going to say, well, I don't have a candle. Great. That's what I do. So what you're going to do, this is called candle gazing. Do you like playing with fire? I do. It's fucked up. I'm a little bit of a pyromaniac. I really am. What can I do with fire? And you can actually play with the fire's energy field. You gotta be careful. Excuse me. Don't go burning yourself, right? But like, watch. Like, I can move this flame. I can pull it. It's subtle. Do you see it? Sometimes it moves away from me, and then sometimes it comes closer to me. Do you see? Look at that. I'll do it on this side so you can see. How far can I go? How far can I take it? Is it paying attention to me? If I get too close, it's gonna burn me. Right? So this is where we're releasing tonight. It is. It's gentle. It's gentle and it's strong, And like, I like to get to the edge where I'm like, that was too close. It doesn't hurt me, but it's just too close. So into that flame, right? The flame itself is sort of a generator of energy, right? So what I want you to imagine is, and the flame has an energy field. You can see it. It's the little shadow around it. If you let your vision go kind of soft, it looks like a shadow. It's the equivalent of its 2 feet of energy, right? So I want you to imagine that into that flame. And I only want you to release tonight what you're really ready to release. Careful. This is an eclipse, okay? This is a portal. Anything we do tonight is a portal. So into that flame, I want you to release what's ready to go, not what you are being told you have to release. Like, there's stuff I have to release right now. I'm not ready. So I'm not putting that into the fire. But the stuff that I am ready to release, and there's a lot. For example, I'm ready to release the whole backstory on SG. Who cares? We're here now. Great. Everybody's like, what happened? And I'm like, you don't want to know. You don't. But we're here now. Like, this present moment is all we've got. So I'm ready to release that into the fire. This is like the perfect time to do it. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Right? We're here now. What are you ready to release that really has to go? And I'm talking about the ripe fruit that's going to fall off the tree anyway. If you have to pull the fruit, it's not ready to be pulled, right? Have you ever done that? Tried to pick a piece of fruit off of a tree and like it doesn't want to go? That's not what we're doing tonight. This is like stuff that's already done, but you've been kind of holding on to it. And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Bye. And it can be old stuff because the eclipse brings up the past, and Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde. Are you kidding me right now? This is past relationship stuff. Somebody you haven't seen in a decade, right? But it's really ready to go. All of that stuff goes in there. So self-doubt, second guessing. I know, but here's the thing. I'm a shaman. In case you didn't know. And do you know what we believe? Every time you tell a story, you revive it. Guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not giving any of that energy to them. Not going to do it. So all done with those stories, right? What story are you done telling? Because every time you tell it, you go clear. And it's like, really? No. Like, so the things are not deserving. They're not. Because you give it life force, right? So be a shaman and put in there the stuff that you're not going to give life force energy to anymore. And I'm actually being really serious with you. This is, I try to be funny, but like, this is not a funny moment. So do you have grief? Do you have sorrow? Do you have regret? Are there things that you didn't do that you wish you had, or you didn't do them right? And it's sticking, but that it's over, and you're not going to tell that story anymore because that story doesn't deserve it. Because every time you tell it again, you revive it. And these are commitments that we're making, right? These are commitments. There are stories I don't tell anymore. Not because they're not important, but because I don't want to give them energy anymore, right? This is your last chance. I mean, now, not forever, but like with me right now. As I extinguish this flame, I stop the flow of energy to this and all related stories. Amen, aho, and so it is. a big deal. It's time, yeah. It's different. Yeah. Watch what happens. If you don't think energy is real, watch what happens. And there's all kinds of fancy Nancy things you can do, and stones and tools and all kinds of things. But I'll tell you something, what you can do with fire at an eclipse. I'm sorry, you have a match somewhere and a candle somewhere. Don't tell me you don't. I don't believe you. I love you. I don't believe you. Did you feel it? Okay. Now, the intention setting piece. I do encourage you to write your intentions down. It's really important. I write them down every new moon. I started this morning and I had a hard time finishing because it's hard for me this month. It's when you're in a, astral storm, it's like hard to see clearly and like articulate. So I'm going to work on it more tonight, but I really encourage you to write them down. Here's what I want you to do for tonight. Okay. Again, at the eclipse, we do nice and easy. We don't pick unripe fruit to release. We don't overthink our intentions. Okay. I want you to focus your attention right now on an intention, something you want to bring in that you can only call in if you did what we just did. Okay. So given X, now Y. Okay. Given that I've released this and I'm committing to releasing this, I'm committing to not telling these stories, not living this reality, I'm committing to that. Given all of that, right? What will that create space for? Eclipses love the void because eclipses are like scary, but they're also, they're that unmanifest potential, and like you could create whatever you want. You know this, right? Like at all times, it's all possible. You go, I can't believe people have that, or I wish I could have that. You can. The reason you don't is because some part of you doesn't really believe it. And you're the problem. You're the obstacle, not the thing. It's really true. People start to live their stories and then they bind themselves to a reality because that's what they think is possible. And you can't really change that for people, right? There's soul contracts and all kinds of other things. So given that you've released this thing, what does that make space for? That's where I want to put your attention right now. So if you need to close your eyes, do that. Whatever you need to do to bring your full attention to what can you have now, given that that is going to not be a reality. So for me, there's like 19 things, right? If I really stop telling that story, whoa. Then it becomes easy to do these other things. So that story I'm releasing is about fear and lack and unworthiness and blah. So with all that gone, what's over here, right? What's behind door number 2? What, right? Oh, okay. Power, potential, strength, evolution, expansion, creation, right? Like all of that, because this story and this story are incompatible. That's what Aries will tell you. And they're going to tell you in no uncertain terms. You can't have that if you want this. You can't have this if you want that. Sorry, right? There is a balance in the universe. But if you release this, now you're making space. There's a balance in the universe and the scale has to be tipped. So if you want to let go of that, then you can start to experience this. And then there's our human discomfort with like, but, right? So I'm in that in-between space. I'm sure you are too. Like, but I want this, but I have to let go of that. I want more of this, which means I'm going to have less of that. And it isn't like an all or nothing, but it's just like you have to release some things to make space. We're human, right? So prioritization, Brenda Lee, is a beautiful word for this, right? Like it's not about you. I mean, you can have everything, But there's also time and space in the third dimension. Sorry, I don't make the rules, right? So what can you actually create with the time and space you have? And if you're filling it with the old stories, the old narratives, the old bullshit, you're going to make no space for what's new. And then you rise. And I'll tell you, there's another way to do it. You can stick with the old stories. You're going to age poorly. Your health is going to suffer for it, and you're going to be unhappy. I don't make the rules. So if you want to have a different experience of the future, you've got to release the past. And that can be very uncomfortable. Can we go over here? You can make your circle bigger. I have small hands, but you know what I'm trying to do, right? So I want you to bring your full attention with the time that we have. This is a very important night and a very important moment. I want you to bring your full attention to the word initiation. What are you trying to start? And it would be really cool if you wrote a couple words down, if you have a piece of paper, or if you want to do this later, like you can think now and write later. But it's kind of cool while you're in a tight circle to think about, what are you starting? And like what words come to you? With my pen that doesn't work. I'm thinking of the word equanimity keeps coming to me, and like I said, I learned it when I was studying Buddhism, but it's a similar concept to a balance of power, right? Yeah, ignite, balance. Ignition is sort of the force that will guide. Union, right? I'm trying to unify really different realities, and that's like, how do I do that? And I'm having to do it. I don't, there's no template for what I'm doing. So I'm having to make the rules up sort of as I go along. So that's uncomfortable, but again, it's freeing, right? Like there is no rule book. What do you do when there's no rules? And Aries would say, well, you make the rules up as you go along. Okay. How do you do that? If you're deciding what this looks like, then there's nobody to guide you, but then there's nobody to correct you, right? So that's Aries. Like, okay, nobody's going to guide you, but nobody's going to correct you. Nobody's going to say you're wrong, but nobody's going to say you're right. Nobody's going to stop you, but nobody's going to push you forward, right? Like you have to create the momentum and you have to accept the risk. This is all the energy of this moment, which is, in my world, it's nuts. I don't know how nuts it is in your world. And to Nietzsche's point, this is leadership, which I used to teach to university students. I told a good friend of mine, and this is just funny. I told my friend, I was like, I think my students, when I was a university professor, should get their money back. I was not authorized to teach leadership. Like, what was I teaching? Now I got some things to say about leadership. Back then I was like, I knew all the theories and all the, but what? I look back and I'm like, I want to do all of it over again for them. Most university business professors have never owned a business. So that's always the problem, right? Like in theory, here's how this works. In practice, right? Accept what is and allow the universe to take control. Hi, Shannon Wheeler. Thank you for your TED Talk tonight. I'm so thankful I attended. It's really true. Accept what is and allow the universe to take control. Do you trust the universe? I struggle. I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Because I'm a Leo. I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Wait, I don't like that. I'm taking it back. Right? Oh, here's a structure. Wait, it's not working. Right? I give it, I take it away. I give it, I take it away. And that's why I'm not where I need to be. Right? I'm still working on myself. Raven, imperfect love, imperfect trust. Yeah, I love it. Heather says the control freak struggles with releasing control. And Christina feels me, which is, I appreciate. Okay. thing with Sagittarius is we end up on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Like, woo! So now I'm living in a tent. It's like, wait, what? You know I'm right. But I'm with my friends. It's really fun. You should come. And the Virgos and the Capricorns and the Taurus are like, and the Geminis are like, we need to talk about this. And Cancer is like, come home. It's not safe out there. And Virgos are like, you worked all that time to live in a tent on the side of the road? I don't make the rules. You chose your birth time. I wasn't there. And Leos are like, I'll bring the champagne and the tequila. Do you have a lighter? And Aries was like, did you pitch your tent correctly? And Pisces is like, I'm tired. And Aquarius is like, did you invite anybody? Like, do people know? Who did I miss? Oh, Scorpio. Scorpio isn't responding to the text thread. They're gonna show up, but like midnight tomorrow. Oh, Libra. Libra's uncomfortable. Some people are not happy about this. No. And so Libra's like, is everybody okay? I'm sorry. I know some of you don't want to live in a tent. No, Cancer wants to know when you're going to come home, and they're not sure they're going to forgive you for leaving. Oh, Taurus is like, how are you paying for this? I mean, how are you going to eat? And by the way, that tent is ugly. Really? I can't live here. There's no blankets. And Cancer's like, I'll bring the blankets. But really, like, how long term is this? I feel unstable. God, Goddess, and Source of all that is, see us tonight as we send our intentions up on eagle's wings. I missed you guys. You know it's true. Please help our intentions to manifest in perfect time and perfect form, in alignment with our highest truth and the greatest good of all who are here. It takes us all to make it go. I mean, at least Taurus is going to pay for it. Do you know this campground charges? And Virgo's like, they don't care. They totally didn't think about that. And you know, Leo and Sag are like, evict us. May your dreams come true. Make a big wish. Amen. Aho. And so it is. The cycle completes itself with that rotation. Because Sage Goddess turns 14 in the next new moon, and it's so appropriate that I'll be with you live. We have a lot of celebrating to do. She won't officially be 14 until the 11th, but I was pregnant with her. Nobody knew I wasn't showing. Although with your third kid, don't you show like at like T-minus 2 days pregnant? I don't know. I wasn't showing it. But she was alive 14 years ago. Thank you to all of the guides for holding our container tonight. The below, the middle, the upper. We release you with gratitude. Guides and guardians of the north, the west, the south, the east. He sits in the east. I was smudged. Isn't that appropriate that he's smudging in the east? We thank you and release you with gratitude. I want to thank the guides for holding circles with me and for me for my first circle was opened when I was 17. I'm 51. It's a long time. So thank you to the guides for helping me learn how to hold and anchor space, for doing it for me, reminding me when I didn't close it, and for allowing me to be a keeper of containers and to allow me to be back. Because for all the challenges, it's pretty great to be with you again. So, aho. So to Team SG, which is still in its formative stages, but like I said, to everybody who has helped me make this happen, and it is a long list. But literally tonight, Lee's here with me in person. We've got Fanya and Circe and Jessica and Lauren live in the feed. I just want to say, and then Circe is our chief moderator for the Wax and Wane Afterparty. She will be the one who's going to make sure that we're going to try. We have half an hour until our first Afterparty starts with our Sage Goddess Community Live. So we're going to make sure that as soon as you register, you're going to have access to the links, or your classroom page, which will have the link to YouTube for our next event, which is at 6:30 Pacific time. So you're welcome to join us. We're going to continue this conversation around the eclipse and the initiation. A whole cycle for this year begins, and you have 2 to 3 months to really create what you want to create before we even start to talk about harvests and all of those things. So April, May, June are your months of full force creation, and we're going to really talk about that tonight and do a little ceremony, but also be visioning like what's that going to look like the next 3 months for you, and putting that into form together. Taking it from the unmanifest and into the manifest is our work tonight, and it's going to be powerful. So, and if this completes your travel with me this evening, I want to say thank you for being here. We're so grateful to you. And there are many more people. Like I said, there are so many people. It was, Robin and Hanalei and Brooke and our entire on the ground team who have put so much thought and energy into tonight. And of course, yes, my sister Kristen and Jen, who are helping us with all of the creation of our Sage Goddess, and Bruce. I want to give big props to Bruce. Huh? Yes, Bruce, who is our incredible graphic designer. Like all of the pretty things you've seen. That's Bruce. Bruce, who's in South Africa and should not be awake right now, by the way. But we do want to give huge kudos to Bruce as well. It takes a village. So just thank you to everybody who's been here and supporting everything along the way. We could not be more grateful to you. And we love you. So cheers, aho, and on we go. More to come from all of us here at Sage Goddess. This is the beginning. And we're trying to remind ourselves that too. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going anywhere. So this will be the last new beginning for Sage Goddess, and may that be so. We appreciate you so much. All right. I will see you in the after party in 20 minutes. I'm going to go get ready for you. And like I said, Circe will be there helping us make sure everybody's where they need to be. When you join Wax and Wane, you're going to get access to a private Facebook group. We'll make sure all of that is ready for you. And then, like I said, there are some really cool things at sagegoddess.com. If you wanted your new moon perfume, everything is 20% off with code RISE20. You're getting a free stone from me. And there's a cool enter to win. I'm going to be doing some new moon readings with the new moon intention deck over in the after party. So I'll see you there. Make sure you RSVP for the full moon on the 12th. And our moderators have put the link up for you. We're going to be live in person in Los Angeles. Wherever you are, I would love to have you come. Registration is limited. There are only 200 tickets, which might sound like a lot, but it's a big reunion for us. So you need to register early. It's free to attend. And then there's an option to get a ticket with a signed copy of Crystalpedia, which you haven't been able to get for a minute because we ran out of it and didn't restock it. We meaning not me, but somebody else. So if you want to come to the event and get a signed copy of my book, you can pay for that. If you just want to come to the event, it's free, but you need a ticket because we only have so much space. We can only house 200 people at the event. And it is going to be a full-fledged party. We're feeding you. We're going to have champagne. We're going to do all the things. We have an incredible group who's putting all of the logistics together, and it's going to be an incredible experience for you. We're going to open, I think, at 3 to come and hang out and shop and talk. And then the event starts at 5 and it's free. But if you're coming from elsewhere, of course, you need to make travel arrangements. And some people are flying in from different parts of the country. I got 2 messages today, so I'm really excited. But you do need a ticket. So make sure you check that feed. Circe and Lauren and Vanya, they have the link to the Eventbrite. So you need a ticket to register. Opens at 3. The link is in the feed. Would love to see you at our full moon event. That will be our next moon event. And then if you aren't in person, of course, we'll be here online, just like we always are. And I'll have the computer going and I'll be with everybody in the space. And I can't wait to welcome you all back. I'll see you soon. All right, you guys, cheers. Have a great rest of your evening. Happy new moon.